in pursuant to the provisions of Article 221 of the Constitution of Kenya, it is right to stand here and make comments on the budget or the statement, the consideration of the budget statement for the financial year, the report that has been tabled by the Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee. Honorable Speaker, for the many years I've been here, at times the national budget becomes just a ritual that we have to go through that hardly ever addresses the pertinent issue and the contemporary issues of the day. Unfortunately, due to the prevailing circumstances, the budget estimates we have here today, at no way do they attempt to address the pertinent issues that we have today. They are simply meeting the requirements of the law and to get the government run as is required to do so. Honorable Speaker, from the very basics of macroeconomics, a budget at any given time must dissect what is ailing the country. The budget policy statement was explicitly clear. It picked out what are our challenges, it picked out what are our problems. The Economic Survey 2026 picked out what are our challenges, what are the things that needs to be done to kickstart this economy. Truth be told, and we cannot keep on hiding our head in the sand, the economy is not doing well. That's the plain truth. Anybody who deludes himself the economy is not doing well is only doing well for those around a certain people who are the ones who have taken hostage of the money, as they put it in my village. Honorable Speaker, if you have read the economic survey, they are very clear. The issue of reducing per capita income, the stagnant jobs, the low salaries or income, vis-a-vis the increasing cost of living. Honorable Speaker, with an core inflation, which is the core, standing at 12%, Honorable Speaker, anybody would have expected that the budget for 2026 would have been extremely innovative to make sure we pull Kenyans out of the hardship and the high cost of living and the endemic poverty that pervades many parts of the country. A country that's supposed to be middle income, if we have poverty index in some areas close to 80%, we cannot surely just make it business as usual instead of attending or attempting to address the issues. Honorable Speaker, I have looked at the policy considerations that have been presented by the committee and were moved my good friend, my neighbor. Indeed, Honorable Speaker, I really expected that the policy direction will stem directly from BPS. We will borrow heavily from country reports by World Bank, IMF, and craft a budget that will kickstart. Unfortunately, I understand I have been in this political space. I do not want to blame the committee. I have been in this political space. I know things, how they work. The letter and the spirit of the Constitution says the National Assembly makes the budget and appropriates. But as many will tell you who have held that position, they know reality is different. The exigencies of the day might force you to go elsewhere. Honorable Speaker, if you dissect the structure of this economy, the way the economy is being structured now, we have no room. There is no headroom for us to change the economic status. The only headroom we have is to completely change the structure of this economy. Continuously relying on agriculture, I can see my colleagues are regulating about fertilizer subsidy. If an economy, in the third, middle income economy, if it's still preoccupied with food production, subsistence production, then we would rather accept where we belong and remain there forever. Honorable Speaker, the income, the profit margin from agriculture are very low, and any invested shilling, the marginal income, marginal utility, actually sometimes tends to be negative. We must focus the economy where we need to make sure things move to the right direction. And where does that lie, Honorable Speaker? That lies in making sure the manufacturing sector, the productive sectors, that's manufacturing, mining, value addition, and the service sector, Honorable Speaker, that's where we should have refocused this budget to ensure we invest in those areas that realize better returns. Honorable Speaker, what have we done? What have we done? And Kenyans need to understand this. What have we done? Out of a national budget, national government budget of about 2.3 trillion, we have allocated close to 30 billion towards the executive office of the presidency. That includes the office of the president, includes the office of the deputy president, includes the office of the prime cabinet secretary, includes the office of the cabinet, as it's called, the cabinet affairs, parliamentary affairs, and includes State House, which Honorable Speaker and the Kenyans need to understand has gobbled up a whopping 13 billion. This ending financial year, because the abuse of Section 223, they actually ended up close to 18 to 19 billion. Yet, Honorable Speaker, when you look at what we have allocated towards enablers of industry, is zero. It's negligible. Based on what we can do. Honorable Speaker, it's indeed telling, and we raise this issue. Honorable Speaker, whatever they have told us, this regime has told us they have invested in the manufacturing sector, Honorable Speaker, has been only pumped into brick and mortar, building the KIPES, EPZA, that little white elephants. Nobody has expressed any investment. Even the investments were pumped into, since they took office in 2022, the return is negative. And you expect Kenya to achieve Vision 2030 of being the most industrialized country in the next 4 or so years to come. Honorable Speaker, when you go through this, Honorable Speaker, there are some wasteful expenditures. In a country where we're grappling with so many challenges, setting aside 800 million to buy police helicopters and air wings, honestly speaking, Honorable Speaker, I do not know if I didn't have food in my house, whether I will pay for the Prado that many of us are using, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also mention a matter that has been continuously mentioned here. Honorable Speaker, the question of fair distribution of developments. Question of fair distribution of investments. I do not want to cast any aspersion to my colleagues who sit in the various committees, but Honorable Speaker, if you pick this document and go through it with a tooth comb, you can see manifest bias towards certain regions of this country. And you can see deliberate exclusion of certain sections of this country. We have talked about this matter continuously, non-stop. Unfortunately, it seems to be falling on deaf ears. Honorable Speaker, there's so much to be talked about, but allow me, Honorable Speaker, to raise a very fundamental issue. We are talking about universal health care. We are talking about universal health care. Yet, Honorable Speaker, in this proposal, we are reducing by 1.1 billion funds allocated to primary health care fund. Primary health care fund, yet we were told every person who falls sick will go to any hospital and get treatment. How that person go to hospital and get treatment, and yet the funds that's supposed to do that have been reduced once again. Honorable Speaker, we are being unfair to the people of Kenya, and Kenyans will judge us harshly. Very, very harshly. Very, very harshly. Of course,
The Honorable Member for Kiharu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. And from the onset, it's good that I make it very clear, having served in the same capacity that we are debating today, that most of my views will actually be towards the owner of the fiscal policy in Kenya, which is the executive, because it will not be very polite for you to start then casting aspersions to the same people you served with. And therefore, most of my comments, Honorable Speaker, from the onset, is on what the executive can